Hi everyone, my name is Helen and welcome to Alumni Night for Faculty of Information and Technology. We are joined today by our wonderful alumnus Kay and also Param from the International Student Engagement Team. So just to introduce to you guys about us, we are Monash University International Student Service, short for MUISS, and we are an independent division of Monash Student Association. So we represent and we advocate for the welfare of all undergraduate international students on Clayton campus. And this year, we do try to represent the whole population of international student at Monash University, among with other student organisations across all campuses. So this is a really amazing initiative that our education team has come up with this semester. And tonight we are talking to an alumnus from the IT faculty, and he'll be answering a lot of your different questions, and he'll be sharing with you his experience as a student at Monash in the past and currently as well. So should be good. So just a little bit of introduction for today. In terms of timeline, we will have Param from the International Student Engagement Team sharing with you guys a little bit of university resources, specifically for final semester student, just to help you to graduate and move into the workforce very smoothly. And then we'll have Kay introducing himself and where he is at right now, a little bit about his experience, and then you guys will be able to drop in some of your questions so that Kay could give you some of his advice and tips. And most importantly, I think it's very interesting that at the end of the webinar, if you would like to, please copy this QR code in to your browser and you will be in the draw for a $20 voucher just by giving us some of your feedback and comment on how this session went. So the QR code will be made available for you guys throughout the webinar. So don't worry if you don't catch it now. Awesome. Just a little bit more on the housekeeping part. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, you guys will see a Q&A box. So do put your questions in there rather than using the chat function. And during the webinar, Kay will be able to have a look at those questions and maybe he can answer them by typing as well. And do try to submit your questions in a respectful manner. It's amazing that we get Kay here with us. So we do try to respect each other as much as we can. And again, do copy this QR code into your browser and be in the draw for a $20 lucky voucher, a $20 voucher. Awesome. Cool. So without further ado, Param, take it away, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. And firstly, before I start, I just want to congratulate MUISS on being able to put together this event very quickly in these circumstances. And it's very generous of you to take time out of your weekend to share this information with students. So I'll start sharing my screen now, if that's okay, Helen.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. There we go. All right. So my name is Param, and I'm the manager of the International Student Engagement Team at Monash University. And what we want to do today is share with you a few quick tips. And I understand that it's still in the middle of the semester, so you won't be thinking too much about these things now. Some of you might have started thinking about it, but what we want to do is just spark your thoughts so that you keep this in the forefront of your planning and your thoughts as you complete your course. So firstly, just go to the next slide. Firstly, with visa questions, it's really important that you consider your visa. What is your visa plan after your student visa finishes? So at the moment, travel is quite difficult. So even if you're planning to return home, you may not be able to do that. There are some visas which the government has put in place for students in that situation. Additionally, for those of you who are overseas but were planning to actually stay on in Australia in a temporary visa, there's some provisions in that space as well, from what I've heard. And also those of you who are here and planning to stay on here, So what's really important is that you get this information from a registered migration agent. I hope some of you were able to attend the sessions that we ran on the 3rd and 9th of September. But if you didn't, I'm aware that the student associations are running some sessions as well. So please look out for those. But in the event that you don't manage to attend any of these, please make sure that you see a registered migration agent from MARA. So what you can do is that address on the screen, mara.gov.au. It's a website where all the migration agents who are actually licensed and able to provide migration advice are listed on that website. So before you consult with anyone or book an appointment, just make sure that they're listed on that website. Now for graduations, it's quite a complicated time at the moment, but you can still get letters. So graduation ceremonies aren't running at the moment. I know Monash is planning to do something in that space for students, but we'll wait for more information. I know some of you are concerned because you want some completion letters to apply for new jobs, and secondly for visas. What you can do is use your letter of completion as proof. So you don't actually need your graduation certificate to provide proof to the Department of Home Affairs. You can use a letter of completion. And actually, I know it says 6 weeks there, but usually a couple of weeks after you get your results, even a couple of days sometimes, you'll be able to get that letter of completion. So once your final results are released, your faculty goes through this very quick process of updating the information and checking that you've finished all your credit points, and they'll process you as someone who has completed your course. And based on that, you'll be able to get a letter of completion, which is sufficient for the Department of Home Affairs. And you can use that in the interim while you're applying for jobs as well. So you will be able to access that, request for that, via Monash Connect. But if you have any questions about graduations and where soft copies of the letters and where they're going to post the certificate and so on if you're overseas, please contact Monash Connect. They will be and send them your direct inquiry. What they'll do is they'll forward that to the graduations team, and they'll get back to you via email. So I actually tried that last semester because I myself did a part-time course and I completed that, and I submitted it, and the graduations team were quite thorough via email, so I kind of appreciated that. Now there are a few practical considerations. So besides the studying hard and making sure you get your visas and other sorts of things, there's simple things like all the physical items that you've gathered over the years. What do you do with them? Whether if you're going to continue staying in student accommodation, that's fine. But if you're going to move out, that you might need to get rid of furniture. Even bigger still, if you're going to go overseas, you're not going to take your bed with you, I'm sure. So you'll need to think about how you're going to get rid of all these things. Now it's a bit early for that, but it's best that you start planning what you want to do, because if the day you need to leave Australia, you look around the room and you go, I've got all this stuff, and you decide to walk away from it, you're going to incur quite a big cleaning cost from your housing agent. So in order to avoid that, start thinking about these things. Now we've got MRS off campus. So we've also, before I go into that, we've got a student guide for finishing uni. So if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to go to our student guide, and it's just been updated very recently. We've put some resources up there. And if you don't miss that, don't worry too much, because we'll be sending out an email next Wednesday with all that link. So as long as you are in your final semester, you will receive that email from us on Wednesday. Now, one of the biggest things is rental wherever you're living. So, depending on when you are leaving, you might have to break your lease early, you might have to extend it slightly and so on. So make sure you get proper advice on that. Sometimes your agents are acting in the best interest of the landlord, so you want to make sure there's someone on your side as well. And we've got the MRS off-campus team for that. So even after you've finished your course, that team will still be able to look after your interests. So generally 3 months after you complete your studies, they'll still be able to help you. And that will be more than sufficient time to wrap up your lease and so on. So things like your lease negotiations, where you can live after that if you need to find a place, they can help you with that sort of thing. So please take note of that email address, and this will be in our finishing uni email as well. So look out for that, and please send them an email. Even if you think you know what you're doing, just run it by them just to get that reconfirmation from someone who's advocate for students. The other thing is I acknowledge that it's a really tough time for a lot of students out there, and not just students, everyone in society generally. And some of you I know are struggling to even pay your rent at the moment. Now, after you finish, I know while you're in university, there's a lot of help you can get from the university. But once you graduate and you go out into society, don't be too worried, because there's still help out there. Okay, so if you think in this space and this one of your concerns, you can speak to MRS off campus about it. They will point you in the right direction and tell you who you can speak to and so on. So please, if you're in that situation, reach out. But don't feel shy. Now, we also have a few career resources that we want to highlight to you. There's this website, because if you're trying to find a job and you're not sure how many jobs are there, how many such roles are there in this economic climate, what am I going to be able to do? There's a website called joboutlook.gov.au. It's a government website, and please go there. They give you lots of details about it. Use that website accordingly. You can find out, sometimes you know what course you're doing, but the roles, the task and the role, sometimes it's quite different. So if you have a job in mind, you might know the title, but you may not know the exact details of the task behind them. Use this to explore, and you might be able to come across some roles that you hadn't considered before, but actually line up quite well with what you're interested in. Our Career Connect services are fantastic. They're free for students, as you know. And at this stage, I think it's really important that you brush up on your CVs and so on, so that you can stand out. It's really hard at this point. I have a friend who just finished a course, had an interview, started a job, everything from home. And what was important, that all the documents were in order, and he was confident about the process. So Career Connect will be able to guide you through these things. And while you've got free access to this service, please use it. And that's it from me. I hope I stuck to my time limit. And I wish you all the very best. All of you are studying under very challenging circumstances right now. But what's most important is that you look at this positively, and you can say that, yes, I completed my final semester under these challenging times. I took it in my stride, and I'm really adaptable. And that's something that you can always be proud of. So all the very best. And I hope your final semester is smooth sailing and you do very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pram. That was so helpful. I myself personally used a lot of those different services, and I can assure you that they're so helpful in helping out students. And they're all free as well, so that's double.
Yeah, everything I spoke about today is free, actually.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen.
Awesome. So let us move into the second part of the webinar, which is when Kay is going to introduce himself to us and give us some tips and advice on how he went with university. Yeah. So
hi guys, I'm Shidich Pandey, but if that's difficult for you, you can just call me Kay. And I'm a third semester student of MIT at Monash. And I've been also working as a part-time software engineer for a startup. For my journey at Monash, I would say it was, so since I have a background experience as software engineer when I was in India, I thought I'll try to, get more experience, get some international exposure. So I thought I'll come to Monash, I'll get a master's degree in information technology, because frankly, I love being a software engineer. And I think you should be proud of what your profession is. So from the start, I was like, I'm gonna focus on my career. I'm gonna focus on the key aspects which make me a software engineer. So I was like, let's choose only those units which are gonna help me with my career goal. So I think the most important thing for a master student would be like choosing those kind of units which will actually help you to get to that particular goal in your career. And this, like I said, I'm in my third semester, and so far it's been pretty challenging and to to get to where I am, because this kind of learning, this kind of teaching was totally new for me. And so far I've been coping up pretty good, because I think the most important aspect of being in a course like this is managing your time. So the advice that I would give to you guys is just try to make sure that your time management skills are pretty good. Do your assignments on time. Always try to get it done before the end of the submission time. And so far, damn, I didn't get. I don't have anything much to say. So if you guys want to get ahead with your question, sure. I didn't get time to prepare for this.
No, thank you, Kay. That was really helpful with some of the advice that you gave. And I'm sure if our students are interested in knowing more, they can definitely drop some questions into the Q&A box.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So I think we are moving on to the Q&A part right now. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A box. I'll be on the lookout for them. We'll be going through some pre-submitted questions by our students first. Yeah. So just letting you guys know about what kind of questions that we are able to answer and what kind of questions we aren't. So about career planning, study tips, interview tips, uni survival strategies, and recommended extracurricular activities. But at the same time, we can't give you any visa or PR advice, and we would prefer not to talk about any personal or sensitive topics. Yeah, and I think we have a bit of an issue with QR code. I'll get my team onto it, and we will see if we could fix that. Alrighty, so Kay, I think we should start with a question of how you're handling the load of working and studying as a master's student at the same time. I actually have so much respect for that.
So, like I said, I'm not boasting here, but I'm actually pretty confident that my time management skills are pretty good. So I work part-time, as in like I work almost like 40 hours per fortnight. So I work in the first week I work for 3 days, and the second week I work for 2 days. And for the remaining time, I just focus on my my uni work. So basically, it's just time management. It's not that hard. I know people think that how am I doing this, or how do people work and study at the same time? It just is time management. If you think, just plan, like as soon as you wake up, plan your day. Before at the end of the weekend for the next week, plan your day, plan your whole week. I think that's what I do. I just plan.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Big fan of planning and, you know, organizing different activities and plans just to make sure that you're on track with everything. Yeah, but I know that you're a really, really busy person. Do you have any activities or like hobbies that you do outside of engineering and IT?
Yeah, I like working out. So I'm regular at the gym. Right now gyms are closed, I know, but I'm pretty regular at the gym. I like reading. So mostly on weekends, I do most of my readings, and not just like novels or just books. Like whatever that I can read like articles. I can read blog articles. I can read any book. I usually do it on weekends. And for I like listening to music. So when I'm working, when I'm studying, I'm always listening to music. So these things actually kind of make you sane in this crazy times. So just make sure, I know career is important. I know working hard is important, but make sure you take your time for yourself. You enjoy the moment that you're in right now. So it's important to do that.
Awesome. No, that's a really good advice. I think a balance between, you know, academic load and personal activity is always very important. We have a very interesting question in the Q&A box. How did you manage the workload from IE in the last semester? I think IE or IT?
I think So I should tell you again, I'm in my third semester right now. So I'm still a second year student and in third semester. So I'm still not doing my IE. That's in the fourth semester. If
There you
that
go.
answers your question.
That's okay. I think your experience as a part-time software engineer might give them a little bit of insight from that. That would be great. So I think the question that we all have is how you went about to obtain that position.
So so when I came here, I was like, I've a experience of like 18 months working as a software engineer back when I was in India, and I was like, I know I have skills. I know I can do. I can work here as well. So I started going through Indeed and all those other websites, like regularly checking on them if there's any role available for a software engineer. But nah, hard luck there. So I came to know about the career portal of Monash, the Career Connect. So I found a job listing there asking for a software engineer with this many skills, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. I know I have the skills. So I applied for the job and got the interview, solved the problem that they gave me for the interview, and then yeah. So what I'm trying to say is I got the job through Career Connect. Yeah, the Career Connect portal.
Awesome. Yeah. I frequently had a look at their portal as well, and I usually receive emails, them telling us these opportunities are closing up, so do apply to them. So I think it's very worth
keep regularly checking the career portal. Like you never know, you might find a job that actually fits you, that actually fits you. So just keep looking for any kind of opportunities that you get there.
Yeah. And do you think it's important for students to be, I guess, to be working part-time in an IT company or something related and studying at the same time? Would that be beneficial?
Working in a non-IT company?
Like working in an IT company?
It's of course very beneficial. So the software engineer that I was 18 months when I worked in India, and the software engineer that I am right now, I've learned a lot of things when I started working here, right? So of course, if you're working in your own sector, if you're working on your own industry, that will give you a huge advantage, a huge boost when you're trying to look for a job after your graduation, right? And so I would say that this kind of thing will definitely give you a bit of exposure to the industry. So the place that I work right now is a co-working space. So there are a lot of startups there, not just my startup, not just my company. So you get exposure before you actually graduate. So if you get a job in your own sector, if you get a job in IT, then that's really brilliant. Like it's just pretty like perfect for your for graduation, like after you graduate. So yes, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess you started talking about your startup. So I'm very curious on how you went about and build your own company while you're still a student. And yeah, could you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I didn't probably get you. Can you repeat it?
You talked about your startup, your own company.
So yeah, so it's not my startup. So I work in a startup. Like I work for a startup. Yeah. So I just want to make that clear.
Fair enough. No, because you're the platform lead working.
So since it's a startup, we don't have much funding. So we, in my company, there are only just 3 people: me, the CEO, and there's another engineer.
That's still very, very admirable.
It's just 3 people. It's a startup, right? So we don't have much funding. We don't have that what do you call that income to get a bigger team. So I'm the guy who actually handles the platform side of the company, like the product side of the company. And there's another engineer who is actually a tutor in Monash, and he's a PhD in computer vision. So he handles the AI part, the computer vision part, and I handle the platform part. And there's the CEO. He handles the basic day-to-day workloads.
Now that leads me to a pretty interesting question. You know how a lot of graduating students are wanting to get into really big firms, the big fours, big consulting firms. And what do you think will be the benefits of working in a small firm, like the startup that you're working with, versus working in big firms?
I'm pretty biased on that. When I graduated my bachelor's, I had an offer from Accenture. If you guys know, Accenture is a pretty big MNC company, right? It's a multinational company. I didn't go there. I was like, I can't work for such a big company, because what my opinion is, what my experience is, you learn a lot more when you're working in a startup. For
Mm,
example, the place that I'm working right now, I'm the guy who handles the whole platform. So if I talk in terms of technical terms, like if I talk technically, I handle their backend, I handle their cloud, I handle their platform, I handle their product. So I'm the only guy who's working on those things. There's not a team of maybe 10 people or 20 people like how it is in big companies, right? So as far as my experience, as far as my opinion goes, I like working in startups. I only aim to work for startups. Not the startups is not like this kind of startup where the company is just starting. A startup could be maybe a team of like an employee, or a startup maybe of employees of like 50 people or 100 people. But as far as my personal experience goes, and my opinion, I just want to work for startups. I can't work for a big multinational company. Sorry, I can't do that.
yeah. So
So this is just my opinion. This is my bias. I don't know why. Why do I think that? But it's just because I just want to learn everything that I'm involved in. I
yeah.
just want to just something, develop something, do something, and then maybe there's another guy who's actually doing that. So I'm not learning that part, right? So that's just my opinion.
No, I think it's very interesting because if you work in a startup, everything is up to you. You know, the responsibility on you is huge, and so you learn so much from it. Whereas,
And the mistakes that you made there, yeah, and the mistakes that you made there really affect the product, the company, right? So
yeah.
you need to be really careful. And I've made made a lot of mistakes, and it actually depends on the company, like the CEO or the people that are involved with you, how they did you after you make that mistake. So it's risky, right? It's if you fuck up something really good, the whole company can go down because it's a startup. It doesn't have that much money. It doesn't have that much support or that kind of financial income. So it's riskier, but there are a lot of benefits to that as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I really do agree, and I have huge admiration on how brave you are to work by yourself in a startup. So yeah, hats off. Um, and I think we have a question from a student in the chat. Do you have any recommendations on what kinds of activities to do in the 2-week break that make you feel both relaxed and productive?
So like I said, I like reading. So it doesn't matter what kind of thing I'm reading. So if I want to be productive, I can read tech articles. If I'm a web developer. My primary profile is a web developer. I work with developing products for web, right? So if I want to be productive and be relaxing at the same time, I can read articles related to web development. What's the new what's the new technology? What's the new latest term? So for being relaxing and productive, you could do something like this, right? So if you just want to be relaxing, you can do whatever hobby that you like. But if you want to be productive, and so I think then you should focus something on that can give you like that can give you knowledge or improve your existing knowledge. So basically, maybe reading, or yeah, reading. I would say reading.
Awesome. And I think that, you know, from your experience of being a master's student and working at the same time, would you recommend students who are graduating to, you know, pursue further studies into masters and PhDs, or would you recommend them going straight into the workforce and getting them some experience?
So I would say my housemate he has taken research in this semester. So he's, instead of doing IE, he'll be doing research. So I think it's totally up to you. Personally, I'm not into research. I don't know. I just can't do it. So it's totally up to you. If you feel like, if you wanna, so innovation is only comes from research. The way the things that I'm deploying right now, the things that I'm working in, is because of some researcher that did some research and then came up with that particular technology, right? So if you want to go that path, then yes, of course, go for PhD. But if you want to get hands-on experience, if you want to actually get in the dirt and build something, make something for people, then I think research is not for you. Then you should focus on IE, or like getting a job after your graduation. So it's totally up to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very important for the student to, you know, look at their abilities, look at their strengths and weaknesses to see where they should go next. And having alumni like you, and then, you know, having mentors to ask those questions will be very, very beneficial for them. Yeah. So we have another question. A student has had 3 years experience as a software developer, but it is but they're finding it hard to land a job here. So what would be your tips on someone who's had experience but still has some difficulties finding a job?
When I came here and when I started looking for a job, I must have applied for like 100 or like 250 jobs, and sometimes I would not even get rejections. So I think for me, it was just being at the right place at the right time, and I got lucky because I can't say any tips. I can't give you any tips for this because I myself was like I was applying for a lot of jobs and I didn't get any response from there. So I would just say like keep looking, keep searching, and you never know, you might find something, right? That's all I can say for this.
Yeah, no, I agree. One more time, because you got to face a lot of rejection before you get.
I must have applied for like 200 or 300 jobs. I don't even remember. I would be like, okay, software engineer click, software engineer click, software engineer click.
Yeah,
But they don't respond properly, right?
yeah, that happens. Unfortunately. So another question, did you face any challenges as an international student finding employment in Australia? And I guess how you overcame those challenges?
So when I initially came here, I was like, I'll work as a software engineer because I got skills. So I started looking for software engineer jobs, and I didn't find any. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll try something else. Maybe I'll try, something temporary job or something. So I got an RSA. I started applying to different restaurants and bars for a job. I didn't, like I said, I didn't even get any rejections. They would simply not respond. So yeah, I faced many challenges, but in the end, I just found that particular job listing at Career Connect, and then I applied for it and I got selected. So as an international student, it's difficult for you to get a job initially, and because everything requires an experience. Even if you if like I worked for 18 months, and this I think we got a question saying that he or she, I don't know, they worked for 3 years, still they didn't get a job, right? So experience matters, especially if you're in a foreign country, and if you've got experience in that particular country, then yes, you'll definitely get a job, whether you're applying for a tech job or you're applying for a part-time job or whatever. Experience does matter. Apart from that, if you don't have any experience, you'll face a really hard time getting a job, uh, like I did in the start. If that answers your questions, yeah.
And I think the key is just to try again and again and just be patient.
Yeah, don't feel disappointed. Don't feel, please. So a lot of my friends, they have more experience than me. They still couldn't find any job. So they were working in Uber or in like any other part-time job, temporary jobs. So don't be disappointed. Don't take it personally, like thinking like, oh, I've got this experience and I still get the job. Please don't do that. Just keep trying. That's all you could do.
Yeah, and I think another big challenge for international students is a lot of companies ask for PRs as well. We are on TRs, on student visas, and so that can be a bit daunting when we keep looking for jobs and they keep requiring the thing that we just fundamentally don't have.
Yeah. So another thing that I would mention is try to look for something that's actually your profile, right? So if you're a software engineer working for, like, let's say if you work for Java, so just try to specifically look for those kind of jobs first. And if you're not getting anywhere, then try to find something that's related to it. So if you're a Java developer but you can also work a little bit with Python, maybe then try focusing on that aspect of your profile as well, right? You're a software engineer, you can learn anything. Right. So maybe first focus on the exact job you want, the exact profile you want. Even after graduation, look for the particular profile that you want. It doesn't matter if there's a dream company that's offering a job, but if it doesn't match your profile, then you're not going to fun. It's not going to be fun working there, right? So first, specifically look for your kind of profile, and if you're not getting anywhere with that, then try to get into those things like where you're comfortable with those kind of technologies, but you can manage and you can learn, and then you can outgrow yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, really great advice. Thank you. And continue on the looking for jobs. I know that you mentioned research, and I know that you said innovations come from research, and it's beneficial for students to get into research. And a very common question among our students is, how do you start to get into research? Like, who should you reach out to? and how do you start all that as a student?
So if you're a student right now, then it's easier because you can just contact your faculties saying that you want to get into research, and I think Monash has some kind of requirements that you need to fulfill, like maybe I think 75% WAM you need to get into research through Monash. So they have this requirement. But usually, if you're fulfilling their requirement, then just contact your faculty saying I want to get into research. And even after you graduate, I'm not exactly sure about the process after graduation. But for now, if you're in your final semester and if you really want to get into research, talk to your faculty, talk to your professors that you want to get into research, and most importantly, think about the kind of research, the topic of the research that you want to do, because that's really important, right? If someone is coming, if some professor is like, I'll get into research, but you need to do research in this particular field or in this topic, please think about it, if you can do it or not, right? uh, it's important that whatever you're doing, whatever you're learning, whatever you want to do, it should be aligned with your career goals, right? Even if you want to get into research, I want to do research on cloud technologies, I want to do research in mobile technologies. So make sure you first do your thorough research, that what you want to do, and then take it from there.
Yeah, I agree. And I also have friends who have gained their research experience from the summer research scholarship as well. And I think that's definitely worth looking into if you want to gain some experience, and definitely ask your tutors and ask your professors for some experience.
Yeah, contact your faculties. That's right now, that's all you can do.
And the faculty as well. Yeah. And on the note of research and that, like oh, I forgot the word. Making yourself competitive when looking for jobs. What else would you recommend students looking into when they're trying to polish their CVs and resumes?
I might sound a little controversial, but as far as my opinion goes, I don't care about marks. So I don't care if I get an HT, I don't care if I get T. The important thing for me is the learning that I get from it. So whatever you're doing, whatever kind of units that are choosing, make sure you're getting something out of it, right? And for polishing your skills, whenever you get time, whenever you get free time, read something, build something. If you're into coding, please build something. Like a lot of my friends who are in data science and other fields, they're like, I don't have any experience, I don't have much to show for, what do I do? And I'm always like, dude, you learned Python, you learned R, you learned you learned data modeling, right? So please build something. Even if you don't have any experience, if you build something, if you get to showcase that in your portfolio, right? Then I learned something, I learned Python, and then I built this program, I built this tool, right? So always try to use the learning from your units and try to build something. I think that's what you can do right now, because you're learning a lot of things from your units, a lot of things from your semester, right? And if you're not doing anything about it after your semester is done, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
So if you're learning Python, if you're learning Java, if you're learning DB in any of your semesters, whatever you're learning, try to make something out of it after your semester ends. Because if you're not doing that, you just learn something and you totally forgot about it, right? So try to build, even if you don't have any experience, try to make a portfolio out of yourself by building things. Whatever is it, even if it's a simple program, even if it's a simple script, doesn't matter. Put it on your GitHub profile, put it on your Twitter or whatever that you're using, and try to build a portfolio before you go into that job market.
It's a very interesting point on the portfolio, because I, as a student not of IT, I never knew about it. So I think it's a very important, very helpful advice from you to build your portfolio, try to do as much as you can. And on that note of polishing your CV and your resume, do you recommend students looking into, non-academic extracurricular activities to boost their competitiveness as well?
So as of course, if you're going for an interview, if you're going for a job interview and you're like, I know this, I know that, and you're totally on your technical things. And if so software engineer is I always talk about software engineer because there's a profile that I have right now. So if you're talking just about technical terms, and if you're not a team player, if you're not if you can't work with others, if you can't write technical documents, so you won't be on the higher priority, like on the priority list for their for the job, right? So make sure according apart from all those things, all the technical things, you need some soft skills as well. So if you're going something into non-academic, then yeah, it does put you in that it might put you in that high priority list. So if you're like, I know this, I can do this as well, but at the same time the other candidate is like, no, I can't do that, that will give you a priority, right? So if you're going into non-academic things, yes, it's important for you, it's important for your profile as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think extracurricular during university is also beneficial for you as well. You know, you connect with people, you make friends. Yeah. So I think.
So I think there are a lot of meetups that you can go to. If you go, I think there's this website that lists a lot of meetups around your area. It doesn't matter if it's technical, it doesn't, if it's non-technical, you could go to those meetups, try to connect to people, get to know about the industry. So you should do this like often when you get time, because there are a lot of meetups. Right now, these meetups are all on Zoom. So if you could just do it from sitting at your home. So you should do a lot of like extracurricular activities if you can, if you got time, and if you think that will put a good impression or could make you a good what do you call a good
candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's all the questions I have on seeking jobs and things. But I'm very curious to ask you about how COVID, the central topic of every conversation, has impacted on you working as a software engineer, because I know that you've been working there for 3 years, and now you're shifting onto a new environment and working from home. How's that been like for you?
So if you're working in tech industry, it doesn't really matter where you are, as long as you want to work, right? Since I've been working at home, I think I've been more productive, because there's no commute, right? I don't have to travel all the way to the city to my office, and at that time, like that extra time I can use maybe somewhere else. Maybe I can sleep for some extra hour, or I could just get up early and do something else. So there are pros and cons to this, I know, but don't try to get into that mentality like, oh, I'm just sitting at home every day, what am I going to do? Go out for a walk if you feel tired. Like a simple walk would do. I know these are tough times, but make sure you are doing something for your mental health. Please. If you feel like things are getting upon you, like a lot of things, if you feel pressurized, please ditch everything, leave everything. Just maybe just for a few days, you just relax. If you feel like things are happening too many things are happening at the same time, if you feel pressurized, please take care of your mental health during this time, please.
Yeah, I agree. Mental health is of everyone has been pretty negatively impacted because of all this, staying at home, not being able to socialize and talk to other people. Yeah, so it's very important to prioritize one's mental health during these times. And I know that you've got a lot of assignments on that at the moment, and I think a lot of our students share that as well. So whenever you feel overwhelmed, just take a break, take a breather.
I think your health come first, right? You prioritize on that. Doesn't matter if you didn't score a HD on an assignment, right? Nobody's gonna ask you, why didn't you score an HD in this assignment? Tell me why, right? if you feel like this is too much, maybe I need some break. Take that break. Take it.
Yeah. And on that interesting point about HD and GPA and things, do you think GPAs matter a lot when students will look for jobs?
So this has happened to me before, but like these kind of marks or this kind of criteria get you inside. So like we'll give you the entry. So if you're standing at the gate and they'll say, I need this much GPA to let you in. So that's the only place that you need your GPA or your marks. After that, it's just your skills. After that, it's just what you know, what you can build, right? So try to, like I said, I don't care about marks, but I do. I try to actually get to an average level of marks and maybe a D or a C, so that I don't. So my GPA is good. My GPA is an average thing, but then I focus on my skills, right? So GPA will get you the entry. Will give you the entry, right? If you want to get into an industry, and they're like, I need this much GPA. This GPA will give you that entry if you have that, right? But once you get in, nobody's going to ask you about your GPA. You'll be like, okay, can you do this? Can you do that? Right? So focus on your studies, of course. Get that GPA, get that average, or if you really think you can get more than average, good for you, do that. But at the same time, focus on your skills. I'm pretty much biased about this. My opinion is really controversial on this, but I don't know. This is how I feel. That focus mainly on your skills. That what you can do, what you can build, what you can offer to your company, to your job, right? And then after that, focus on your marks. I've seen people just relentlessly going, oh, I need an HT, I need a D. I'm like, why? If you're scoring an HT, if you're scoring a D on your assignment and you're doing nothing after that, right? If you I'm doing an assignment on iOS, right? I'm making an iOS app, and after this assignment, I don't do anything about it. What's the point of getting that HT if I don't polish upon my iOS skills and my developing skills, right? So make sure if you're aiming for HT, good for you, really good. Get that HT. But after that, make sure if you learn something from it because you got an HT, keep polishing those skills, right? So I think I would say is GPA will give you that entry, but after that, your skills will help you survive, not your marks.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're biased at all. I think it's a difference when students go from the student mindset into the actual workplace mindset, where they don't treasure GPA as much anymore, and they look at what you're capable of, what you can bring to the team, and how much you can do. Yeah,
I think so. I've seen a lot of people. A lot of friends who came here without any job experience, and those are the people that actually focus on marks rather than skills because they have not actually worked in an professional environment. What it's like when you're working with maybe 10 people, 5 people, how much responsibility is on you to make that thing work, right? So they don't have that experience. Maybe that's why they are just in that student mode. Like, I just want to study and get good marks. Good marks will get you in, but after that, what are you going to do? You need skills. You need skills to survive, right? So that's why I think this is pretty biased opinion of mine, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of our students do want to look for jobs without any work experience. So it's a very challenging topic when they talk about, I don't have zero work experience, I have a TR instead of a PR. But yeah, as we've mentioned, and I think it's a very valuable lesson, that just keep trying, try to ask them how you went on the first time and try to polish on your skills.
Build a portfolio.
Yeah.
If you don't have any experience, build a portfolio. That will be really beneficial to you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I just have one last question because you're very interesting. I know that you're working here in 2 companies, and then you have a software engineering degree back in your home country. After completing your master's here, do you plan to go back to your country, or do you plan to stay here in Australia?
Right now, the way what I'm planning is working for a few years in Australia. Then maybe go to some other country, work there, get some that perspective, like in maybe some other country. Then maybe go to some other country and finally come back to my home.
You're a global citizen.
Yeah. That's what I'm planning right now. Let's see what happens in the future. Nobody expected 2020 kind of year. So you never know what might happen in the future, but that's what I'm planning right now. Like a few years working here in all kinds of environments, like a new kind of environments. And then finally, when I'm done traveling, I'll be like, okay, I'm going back home. I just want to go back home now.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really cool mindset, going traveling around, getting all of your experience, and then get a good retirement in your home country. What's better? Yeah, I agree. And I think you mentioned this at the start as well, that you want to get some international experience. And I might not know a lot, but I think IT and computer science is one of those areas that you could really apply your skills in many different countries.
Many different countries.
But it's the same language, like, because you're working with the computer language. You're not working with like human language, or like French or English or Spanish or something.
Yeah, computer language is universal, right? If you're going to the US, if you're going to Canada, if you're going to Europe, can we speak the same language?
Yeah. So, oh yes. So that leads me to another question. I'm really sorry, but you had a software engineering degree in your home country, and you were able to find a job here in Australia. Do you have any advice for students, who might graduate here and look for jobs in their own country?
I think if you got a degree in a foreign country and you're going back home to your own country, I think that would be really beneficial, because education sector in your country might be different than education sector in some other country, right? So if I can't really say about someone's education system in some of someone's country, but generally it's favorable. Like I've seen, at least in my country, that if you get a master's degree from some other country and you come back and you try to find job, you get that for you, like, oh, he's got a master's degree from this university from this country, so you'll get that priority again, that priority for you when you're looking for a job in your own country. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering those questions. I think our students will be benefited so much from listening to your answers. And I found our conversation really interesting as well. So thank you so much for helping us out today. I don't think we have any more questions in the box. But yeah, thank again, Kay. And I hope everything goes well for you. And I hope you have a really good two-week break.
Thank you. You too. I wish the same for you. So I think you said you're not getting the break, right?
No, unfortunately I'm not. Yeah, nah. It's fine. All good. Yeah. I think staying at home without the commute of 2 hours a day makes it better as well. So yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I hope we stay in touch in the future. Thank you for all the participants today as well. And we will end the webinar here. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you for having me.